welcome into the channel. So excited to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to be diving specifically into our health, our well-being via the current energy of the astrology, tarot, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I hope you are doing well today. It's very snowy. It's very cold where I am. So it definitely has these good vibes right now of maybe a little bit of hermit energy. And when I'm talking about the hermit energy, I'm specifically referring to places that we go within, that we spend time, focus, carve out specific time for our mental, emotional, physical well-being, so we feel strong enough to combat whatever we're navigating via life, right? And that's why I like doing these readings. It's good to check in to see where we're at on a health level, whether you are dealing with whatever aspect, I should say, that you're dealing with it. Whether that is physical ailments or it's just things that you kind of feel are blocking, limiting you, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual well-being, etc. So we're in Aquarius season right now, and Aquarian energy is very beautiful. It aligns with the star in the tarot, which is one of my favorite cards, because it is a promise of healing, of wish fulfillment, of hope on the horizon, i.e. that, well, I've been saying that a lot, so I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be too redundant, but I've been kind of defaulting to that, i.e. what I mean. But, just kind of embracing new ways of doing things. We might not be exactly where we want to be, or things that we're going after, our desires, what we're trying to manifest, they might not be in play right in this moment. But Aquarian energy reminds us that when we connect with the right community, the right support, actually do things that we want to be doing, right? not compromising ourselves is what I'm hearing. That's where we start building fulfillment, happiness, success, etc. So I'm going to start off the reading with an energy cleansing per usual, just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. I have a sage smudge, which is a beautiful herb for purification, detoxification, cleansing, etc. So that we can just kind of cleanse out anything that we feel might be blocking or limiting us. It's also a good time to set your own intention, especially if you do have something on your heart, on your mind that you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, etc., or if you're more interested in that realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're in alignment with self, when we're feeling strong, grounded, supported, when we know who we are and what we want, again, that's really where we manifest our happiness and fulfillment from. And I would love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, with that, let's get into it. Okay. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama. Ooh. my smudge almost fell. All right. So what I was hearing as I was preparing for this, and just even kind of as we were going through that blessing, is you might be putting a lot of pressure on yourself lately. Pressure to succeed on some level, whatever that means for you, you know. This could even be in regards to your health and your wellness practices, kind of how you're investing in yourself at the moment. Aquarius is kind of a weird time because it is a really inspirational energy. It's when we kind of start feeling like, okay, I can actually do this. I can make this happen. There's hope. There's belief. And it pushes us into this realm of taking action steps towards those goals. But like I said, a lot in the astrology has continued to remind us to like take it slow, especially because we're being challenged on kind of a superficial level, or more like how we think, how we feel about ourselves, what we feel we deserve, what we can actually have, achieve, etc. And there's some things coming in that are rubbing us the wrong way. Like it kind of looks like we should be better off than, or it comes through like you feel like you should be better off than what you actually are. Interesting that we get the abandoned plantation as the overarching theme. It's dismantling ugly truths. I really like this because I've been reflecting a lot on how what we do believe about ourselves translates into not only our physical body, but into our daily actions, and also who we attract, what we draw to ourselves. And our brain is actually making these patterns that feel familiar, that feel comfortable. And we are definitely in a time of dismantling those things that are not true, that are not reality, or that we don't want to be our reality. It does require a lot of honesty with self, because this dismantling I'm hearing is both within yourself, it's internal and external environment. And that's why step by step, being methodical or taking your time, you don't have to be incredibly slow or withhold certain things from yourself, but basically making sure you're doing your due diligence, that you're authentically moving through the process, because that's what's going to make it the most concrete and beneficial for you moving forward. And I think you are really kind of reworking some of these ideas, some of these opinions about yourself. The astrology or the transits are a little bit quieter this week, which is really nice when we're talking about our mental, emotional, physical well-being, because we definitely want to connect with things that are more life honoring. That's what being healthy essentially is all about. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to be a robot, but I really look at health and wellness as it's the foundation for what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, what we want to achieve. And that's not just on the physical level. Yes, the physical component, if we feel good, we're able to feel inspired and invigorated towards certain things. If we feel like shit, well, we're not going to be doing much. And I think part of, I'm hearing this is like a detoxification process, where you do have to cleanse and purge out the old ways of thinking, the habits, the patterns, the things that you've been confronted with. I do think it's forced you to kind of go within. That's been a huge theme in the astrology right now. The hurricane lamp symbolizes preparedness and inner light. It reminds me a lot of the hermit energy that I was talking about earlier, where it's good to hear other people's thoughts and opinions, people that you trust specifically right now. But ultimately, it is your own inner guidance that's going to help you. That is going to help you strengthen and nourish yourself into the place that you want to be, into a place where that you're feeling stronger, that you can invigorate, excuse me, enliven your passions. Actually, I think I'm breathing this in, but it doesn't want to change sides. All right, so instrument, self-expression, speaking truth, needing to exercise your throat chakra. But again, I'm hearing this undertone from a platform of wisdom within yourself, that you're taking time to communicate powerfully, like simply and powerfully. I'm hearing as well with this instrument, it's using the resources that are available to you in order to express. We've been getting this cutting off energy a lot, the axe, division, lessening. I feel like that's been also an overarching theme of this refinement, continue to refine. And that makes a lot of sense as well with how the astrology is playing out. We have some resistance right now to the vertex point. And the vertex point is basically things that are inevitable. They're gonna happen, right? Whether it's just because of cause and effect, or that's just how that thing was meant to go. And I feel like we're getting more confident, more comfortable in those things. Let's look at this a little bit deeper with the tarot. So in the blocked energy is live oak, longevity, reliability. I think that I'm hearing this is more like what you have to rely on. That goes back to the overarching theme of exactly why you're taking time to dismantle some of these things that are not serving you. And like I said, it can be a thought, but this is also manifesting a lot in our external environment. As I'm saying that, we're getting the Emperor and Seven of Fire, which is connected to cinnamon. Cinnamon is, in Ayurveda, it's very heating. So it kind of gives us that passion, that drive to overcome. Because Seven of Fire is in the tarot, it's like when we're feeling a little on the defensive, or we feel like the route we're trying to go isn't getting us to our destination, so we have to explore other options. And it does require this element of vigilance, i.e. the Emperor. It's methodical, patterns, natural order, all of that stuff plays a part, right? And I think that that's kind of why there is this back and forth energy where I'm hearing, especially as it relates to health and wellness, it's like you do a little bit for yourself, and then, it might, I don't know if it's a 2-step forward, 1-step back type thing, or if it's like you're doing a little bit and then plateauing, you're doing a little more and then plateauing. Simple steps, because you kind of have to figure out, like, this energy is, okay, I'm a little bit of this happens, then I'm figuring out how it's actually working out when I do X, Y, and Z, and then I can continue to refine a little bit more. And I'm hearing this is about plucking out certain things that are not going to have longevity anymore. And that might also mean that you have to let go of certain things that you do have some longevity with. to kind of get you to the next destination or give you a little bit more stability and support, because you might not have that right now. The High Priestess, Mugwort, Neptune is in Pisces, so it's really easy to kind of pick up intuitive messages right now. And Saturn is in conjunction with Neptune, which means they're on top of each other. And so it's basically like if you're listening to what your intuition is telling you to do, that still small voice, it sounds like truth. It feels like truth. It's not going to make you feel all paranoid and crazy. That's what our intuition is. And then you actually put into practice what it's telling you to do. Again, you're going to be way further along, or you're going to see quicker results, especially if you are really investing into your physical health and well-being. Because it's not about, I think some of what you're moving through, it's not about following, like, I think there is some natural order to things, but you're coming in as the Hija of Fire, which is the Page of Wands, who does not sit still, right? He's just like on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And he's not afraid to explore new territory, new ways of doing things. We have the California Poppy, which is just very, I don't know, it has this whimsical air to it. And you're not committing to much right now. I don't know that that's bad. Yeah, because you're giving yourself space, and I think this space is important. Like, it feels like whatever you're doing, you are actually honoring yourself, but it might not be the traditional way of doing things. And that's what's kind of maybe messing with you a little bit, or maybe it's just whatever ingrained beliefs that you had from before are no longer working, and so you have to proactively dismantle those. Okay. Let me clarify this for you. Page of Wands energy. It is playful. I think having low expectations right now, really kind of understanding that your best results are going to be via keeping things loose. And as I'm saying that, like, that was actually coming through for me as I was preparing for your reading. Like, it's the amount of pressure you're putting on yourself versus maybe what's a little bit more realistic, and having a component of surrender, knowing that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. And I think that's a really hard space of life to maintain, because we can't hold on to anything too tightly. And that feels not fun for how we as humans, you know, we believe we have like control over things or people or dynamics or whatever. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, but we're seeing some controlling energy in your environment. I love that. Hey, Karen. Sorry, I'm reading your comment. How's it going? It's so good to see you here. I've never been like that. I've never been like everyone, and now I'm learning to live in that. And I think that's so powerful. And honestly, that is such a beautiful description of what Aquarian energy is. It's innovative. It does march to the beat of its own drum, and it's not afraid to be that way, right? And I think, you know, Maharishi Ayurveda talks a lot about how when, like, it is that we have to invest in self first. And when we live out of our authenticity, it actually helps everyone around us, and it helps other things fall into line in our life. It's when we're constantly trying to push back or control or restrict. And thank you for saying that, Karen, because I think it was a beautiful way to drive home some of what I was just saying. And there is pushback in our environment right now, and partially because we do have to find what works. It's not doing it perfectly, It's being able to refine, to let go, to detox, again, cleanse out what has been restricting, limiting you all along. And how that actually plays, how it is mirrored, how it is reflected back to you in your life. Because it does tie back to, well, even Ayurveda looks at it, like it really ties back to our quality of consciousness. And it's really cool. The more we can cleanse, purify ourselves through self-love, through self-care, taking care of our well-being, awakening, living in alignment, just like you were saying, Karen, like not letting the uniqueness of who you are keep you from living who you need to be, right? Or not letting people, maybe there are just some components, people that have been around for a long time that have certain expectations of how you should interact, engage, and respond. Let's look at this a little bit more. I want to clarify because there's an energy, like I said, there's this resistance around you, and it's an energy that wants to be right, that wants to be the person or the thing in charge. Maybe that's part of where it's hard to speak your truth. As I'm coughing, my throat chakra is closing up. Someone who maybe has a very principled way of doing things, and perhaps it doesn't align with how you want to do it. But there is this demand for you to follow order and structure. When you are trying to change your tune or change the trajectory with this Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth, nettle. I love nettle. It's actually a really good detox herb, especially for the female reproductive system. And that is our divine feminine energy, right? That is connected to our intuition, to our higher knowing. So again, it's that value of when we keep our body clean, when we are that clean vessel, it helps us connect more easily with what those intuitive messages are. It also helps us navigate some of these energies that are trying to dictate and force and control. That might deplete you, that might kind of suck your energy dry, i.e. the things that you are refining in your life about yourself and about your environment. It's hard to get some of it out. I know I keep coming back to this longevity in our blocked energy. This also, if it's not like a specific person that you can't get away from, then it's those habits and patterns that we're so used to, so accustomed to. What I love about Ayurveda is it encourages the practice of meditation. Meditation, it's definitely been proven modern day research, science reviews. There's a lot of information on the benefits of meditation on our overall well-being, our stress management, our cardiovascular, our cholesterol, etc. Managing those natural functions that we really need in order to thrive. And meditation really helps realign the body to its natural functioning in a natural way, in a way that you don't have to try that hard. It's like the best thing in the world. It's like, it really is like an elixir on some level, because when we're able to kind of de-stress, really diffuse, quiet our mind, our body, our soul, that's when it can align in an optimal and harmonious way. Because what you're asking for, well, here's the thing. I already see the change happening because you're not staying in one place too long to your detriment. I don't see it as good, bad, right, or wrong. It might make you look a little bit flaky, or people don't understand, or, you know, they're not liking how you're managing things. And so that's why they're trying to exercise control, or where you're getting some pushback from. But again, some of this might be a facade. And I feel like that's, again, this dismantling of ugly truths. Like where we believe certain things that actually, like, whomever, whatever this person is, this situation or dynamic, it's like they go from like having everything in control and dictating you should listen to me and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But then they end up showing that they're actually just really quite immature, or they don't have their stuff together, or that whatever this is that you're pushing for is actually a good way to go. We'll see if they have to come on board, because if this is just this energy of resistance and not a specific person who's trying to make it difficult, it looks like you're extending an olive branch of some sort. I'm not sure that they want to pick it up. Okay, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Turmeric. Turmeric is also very, it's like a nutrition powerhouse. It's a very powerful herb. Let's see. Okay, the World, of course. Pachamama. Completion. We're seeing a lot of that. Closing out cycles. Something's taking a long time. And again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying in the very beginning. This is a time where you're able to just see what works, see what's sticking, see what actually will benefit you long-term down the road. And that's where I see you. This is, you know, just switching it up. Like I said, keeping a loose hand on how you're doing things, not getting, like, not allowing your expectations to be out of alignment with what it actually is, because it's going to keep your energy nice and light anyway. Okay, let's see. Well, actually, let me see if I want to. I'm going to clarify this live oak in our blocked energy, how this is playing out, reliability. Like I said, I'm hearing it's maybe people's misperception of you, of what you're trying to do, but also not really taking any initiative to, like, understand. I.e. have a conversation with you. Talk to you like an adult person, right? Okay, so the Sun, the Magician. Oh, I'm sorry, no, the Magician, but it's sunflowers, my absolute favorite. I love sunflowers. Okay, Seven of Fire again. That's cinnamon. And Eight of Air, right? No, 10 of Air, alfalfa. Okay, so cutting, this is, you know, making sure that you're not necessarily, well, okay. I'm just kind of seeing this as you're making sure that you're not repeating cycles from the past. And we've talked about this a lot. There are still some things, some energies that are holding on to us. It goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning, letting go of those heavily ingrained patterns. Whether it is, if it's like you're focusing on your physical wellness, okay, just implement things slowly, one thing at a time. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to give have a nice morning routine. Starting the day off with warm water is a great way to help flush out all of the repair and restoration. Not the repair and restoration, but it helps flush your body out. It helps start your digestion in a positive and happy way. It's a great way to start the day. It's also like very calming and therapeutic. I like it, especially if you do have a prayer, meditation, inspirational practice that you like to engage in the morning. Ayurveda's huge into morning routine, daily routine in general, but morning routine specifically. And why I'm saying that, because it's like you getting out of your comfort zone or what you're normally used to. And if you're focusing more on your emotional, mental well-being, right, not falling prey to whatever ugly truths or people are trying to spew onto you, then this really does manifest when we're kind of taking care of our spiritual body, right? Whatever you resonate with spiritually, religiously, etc., kind of investing in those traditions. Ayurveda has the behavioral rasanas, and it's about how we show up in life. Be truthful, be honest, have moral integrity, treat your neighbor with kindness. Those things that really help us, allow us to thrive. And I feel like that's where, because some of the things I'm seeing in your life, in your environment right now are not stable, and you're trying to find your stability in the process. I think it's try not to take on too much, especially when it comes to your beliefs, your expectations about what you can achieve. Be gentle with yourself, right? Especially if you set certain goals and are not achieving them, because that's what I was picking up in the very beginning, is the amount of pressure, stress that you might be adding on yourself, and maybe even unbeknownst to you. This can be anxiety, fears, depression, things that maybe we feel like we have no control over. Also, where wellness practices, whether you choose Ayurveda, look it up. It's a really supportive way of living, or just, incorporating things that are for yourself, right? Taking a bath, doing some aromatherapy, doing a yoga, taking a hike, a walk, etc. Whatever that is for you, that can really just help calm and balance your soul. That's where we start letting go naturally, releasing the things that are holding us back or keeping us down, or we don't need anymore. And honestly, the more we invest in the good stuff, the easier it is to let go and not even be aware that we're letting go, right? It's a natural process, a natural happening, which I love. I think it's beneficial, right? Okay, so feel. I love this. And that's also how we tap into what we are feeling. I enjoy doing things that fuel me. It feels great to do things for myself just as much as I do for others. When I make sure I am taken care of, I can better show up for those in my life and for the work that I do. 100%. I love that quote. I love that embodiment. When we are feeling our way through this process, it can be very powerful, right? And I think we have to be able to do that, especially when we are unlearning habits, patterns, people, environments that we've been indulging in for a long time. Maybe not indulging, but engaging. Pluto governs 20-ish year cycles. So a couple decades. And if we think about, where we were 15, I think it was around 2008. Well, as I'm saying this, 2008, the big crash, etc. We can see where those transitions of Pluto into Capricorn, it just moved into Aquarius, how that change manifests on a grander scale. So we have this opportunity again to connect with ourselves and rewrite how we are doing things. So it does actually honor and benefit our life, our livelihood. And when we do that, it's actually going to help others, right? Just like the feel card said. Inspiration board. If you want to do a vision board, that might be a little bit cheesy. I feel like this is just anything that inspires you, anything that reminds you of what you're committing yourself to. We just moved out of Capricorn season. We just had that new moon in Capricorn. And so it helps us set the stage for okay, I'm actually going to commit to this. If it's implementing wellness into your everyday routine, I'm going to start by, eating at the same time every day. or I'm going to implement a morning routine, or I'm going to set aside time for prayer, meditation, exercise, whatever it is for you. And then you start small and you keep building and growing. And whether you get a study buddy, you make a vision board, write affirmations on your mirror, whatever vibe is for you. It says, if I'm ever feeling down or bored, I spend my time creating a vision board to place in my home. I fill it with quotes, pictures, and desires that bring me inspiration and joy. And again, this is just anything that resonates with you in that way. I love it. I actually just got a Lego car. I was just thinking, my son and I, we built some Legos this weekend and this past weekend. And one of the cars is a car I really like and I wouldn't mind having. So you could do that. Creating something in some way that kind of reminds you of what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to bring in. Okay, intentions. Today is a fresh start. No matter how my day was yesterday, I can make today whatever I want. My intention for the day is blank. I like this because it's like reminding us that grace component, that even if you're not doing it as fluidly or perfectly as you want to be doing, you can restart again every day or every, moment. Maybe that sounds cheesy. Maybe wait a couple hours. I don't know. But just that value of you don't, again, really weighing the pros and cons, what's worth your time, energy. Is it worth it to harp on yourself, put all this stress and pressure on yourself? Is it counterintuitive to what you're actually trying to do, how you're trying to support yourself? And recognizing that, there are going to be things that you are going to have to refine, things that you have to go back to the drawing board, the table around, etc., that aren't going to work out perfectly first try. And that's okay too. I think we're being called to be gentle with ourselves, not to the point of apathy. That can be a little tempting right now with Jupiter still in retrograde in Cancer. Water energy can make us a little bit complacent, especially if we're very aware of our feelings, emotions around things and we're not feeling great, right? Like I was talking about depression, anxiety, fears, not being able to sleep, not being able to quiet down our nervous system so we can hear what, where we need to kind of refine, or maybe some places that we can utilize some tools that will help us that we're not currently using. And it's allowing newness to unfold. That's what I'm most excited for you about, is the newness that's coming through. I don't know where that, she's right in front of me, that Page of Wands went. But it's allowing you to kind of, again, you're not holding on to anything too tightly. I think there's a level of acceptance that's happening. The challenges are where we're reminded maybe of the past or things that really don't help us, support us. We're running in to people saying things, habits, patterns within ourselves that we don't like, we're ashamed of, embarrassed of, whatever it is. But face those head on, because it's actually, I know that's a little cliche, but it is that value of when you do, and this Ayurveda talks a lot about this too. When you allow yourself to be aware of what's going on, it helps you to process through it better, even if you don't like it, even if it makes you feel kind of shitty, Those are never fun things for any of us to face, but it's it helps us see a lot better what we deserve, not only what we deserve, but what we think about ourselves, and then how that's actually playing out in real time, so we can adjust those things so that we're not buying into the ugly truths that aren't really true, right? Not to be redundant, but I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. Karen, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Definitely hope that you found messages that resonated here for you. Let me know. I love to hear. I love to connect. I love to know what resonates, how you're liking these readings, any suggestions too, or just connecting together. I love community and bringing people together, and just know that I appreciate all the love and support, especially if you've made it this far in the reading. Know that it blesses my heart, blesses the channel. Thank you so much for everything. I'll be live tomorrow night with our weekly, so definitely tune in if you're interested. And know I'm sending all the love, all the blessings towards your health, your well-being this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you